All of the good things that you want flowing into your life and into your business are this far away, not this far away. And it hinges upon you understanding one very simple principle called reciprocation. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through 4 very simple tactical practices that you can begin doing right away that will dramatically improve the quality and quantity of both your personal and professional relationships. In other words, more ideal clients coming into your world and a more gratifying, happy life with those people who you love the most. By the way, I'm going to share with you a principle at the very end of this video that is going to teach you how to not just implement this principle of reciprocation, but it's going to teach you how to really accelerate it and get the most amount of value. So be sure and watch all the way to the end. So to illustrate this principle of reciprocation, I want to tell a brief story. It was my birthday just a few months ago, and I love my birthday. In fact, the part that I love most about my birthday is I just get to be in contact with a lot of people who maybe I haven't had contact with throughout the year. And I'm always so touched by their kindness, by their thoughtfulness of reaching out, saying nice things to me. In addition to that, my kids who are young are more excited about my birthday than I am, which is kind of fun. We get to celebrate as a family. So for all these reasons, I love celebrating my birthday. In fact, I always have, even since I was little. I always loved my birthday. And it's so interesting to me that on this particular day, I wasn't getting a lot of notifications. And I started to feel bad for myself. I started to think like, man, maybe I'm not as special as I thought I was. And as those thoughts started to settle in, it wasn't until later in the day that I noticed that Facebook had made an algorithmic change in the way that they were notifying me about my birthday, which sometimes can be kind of nice because if they were to notify me every time somebody said that, it would be hundreds of notifications and it would be a little bit annoying throughout the day. You know what I'm talking about. Now, in this particular instance, I learned that Facebook was making maybe one notification, hey, somebody's wished you happy birthday. And literally behind that, there's hundreds of other people who've done the same thing. Now, I hadn't noticed that, so again, I was feeling bad for myself. The interesting part of this story is I had an epiphany partway through the day as I was feeling a little bit bad for myself, which was this. How many people and how often do I reach out and wish other people a happy birthday? It's not every day. There are people that mean a lot to me, who I have very kind things to say about me. At times, I even see Facebook notify me that it's their birthday, and I think to myself, I need to get to them. I need to talk to them. I need to wish them a happy birthday, and I don't. And so it's so interesting to me that I was taking this very personal, yet me, myself, in the way that I reached out to other people and wished them a happy birthday has not been a priority to me. Isn't that funny? In that moment, I realized that if I really want to be celebrated, guess what? I need to celebrate other people. Now, this ties into the principle of reciprocation. You get back what you put out into the world. Now, let me tell you about a friend of mine, J.R. Hines. If you know J.R. Hines, you might get these same birthday wishes, but me and all 6 of my children and my wife all get a birthday text anytime any one of us have a birthday. And it tells us, hey, happy birthday to so-and-so. Can you believe so-and-so are they 14 now? Wow. And he says, what are you guys doing to celebrate? Like seriously, every single day, it's the first text I get. Like what an amazing system of reciprocation. Now you better believe that I remember JR on his birthday and I reach out to him, I have a phone call with him. Like I make it a point to never forget JR's birthday because he never forgets me or any of my kids. So again, the principle is this, if you want something in your life and in your business, make a very concerted effort to put that out into the world and watch what happens. Now, here's a pro tip. Is that just as many people were delivering to me a birthday message on social media, I wasn't seeing it. In fact, afterwards, later in the day, when I noticed I had several hundred birthday wishes, I didn't have the capacity to go back and tell everybody, happy birthday, or thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, here are the people who really stood out to me amidst that ocean. Now, keep in mind, I'm very grateful for everybody reached out, right? But those people who called, who texted, or who even sent a direct message on Facebook stood out to me. Right? They had more of an impact upon me because instead of being one of many in a big lump of birthday wishes, it was very individualized and it was through a medium that allowed me to feel unique and special. So again, when it comes to this principle of reciprocation, I'm going to think, how do I actually stand out? How do I make sure that what I'm putting out into the world is unique and different in a way that gets noticed? Because if it doesn't, your good efforts of putting that into the world might not be returned because people don't see it. So my invitation to you on birthdays is to make it a practice every day. Set aside 10, 15 minutes and send individual text messages if you have someone's phone number. If you don't, you can send them a direct message on Facebook. But if they're close to you, pick up the phone and call them. Send them a video recorded message. Wish them happy birthday. Just stand out, be different. If you do that, watch what happens on your next birthday. The thing that you wanted to have happen, which was to be celebrated, to be noticed, to be recognized, will come back to you in droves. Practice number 2, handwritten thank you cards. I love it when I get handwritten thank you cards. Like they mean a lot to me because I know it's not easy in today's world to actually take out a pen and a card and a stamp. Like all of that's very inconvenient. So when people do that for me, I like it. I appreciate it. I'm grateful for it. And yet how often do I do that? Now I have in the past been pretty good at this, but I've realized that that particular practice of writing regular handwritten thank you cards has slipped for me. Now, again, the thing that I want in life, I need to put out into life. So if you value handwritten thank you cards, then you should start sending more of them, period. Case closed. End of story. The third thing I want you to think about when it comes to reciprocation are online reviews. I think all of us would appreciate more online reviews, right? It only validates the fact that we are serving our clients well. Now, here's what I want you to think about. When it comes to online reviews, sometimes we think of like consumer products, right? We're on Amazon and we're going to give a review. No, I'm talking about the professionals who serve you, the professionals who you work with, the professionals who you've referred. Anytime you've had an interaction with a professional specifically, I want you to go find them online and write a review. Even a better practice would be to ask them, I'd like to give you an online review on what platform would be the most beneficial place for me to do that. Reaching out to people in that way will make an impact upon them. Again, this is unsolicited testimonial reviews for those professionals who have served you well. Again, you want more testimonials? The path is very simple. Start giving them. And again, you need to make it easy for other people to find you and do the same. Like in other words, you should choose a platform that you want to be featured on the most, right? Whether that's Zillow, whether that's Google, whether that's Yep, whatever it may be, choose your platform. And when somebody asks that question in return, you have an answer for them. Oh, yes, I would love them. Please use this link. Be prepared for that to come back to you. And last but not least, principle number 4, client introductions, which some would refer to as referrals. Okay, I want to talk about this because this is the essence of what we do at Pro Insight, which is a company that I have the good fortune of leading, which is we enable professional introductions. And this recipe for getting more client introductions begins with your willingness to give client introductions. I oftentimes talk to professionals who say, yeah, I don't really give client introductions because I don't want to have to put my name on somebody. Like I don't want to have to endorse somebody for fear that they might mess up. Well, just know that you're putting that out to other people. In other words, if you're not willing to endorse other people, they're not willing to endorse you. And I think endorse might be too strong of language, but recommend. Let's just say this. My good friend Amy Donaldson taught me this principle. She said, you know, when we give 3 business cards, we're not doing anybody any service. We're covering our own tail end. We're not actually helping other people. What they want from us is an introduction to another great professional. If we are a great professional, we should be willing to introduce other great professionals. Because the principle is this, is that they already have other options. They have the internet, this thing called the World Wide Web. They already have it. They have lots of options. They're asking you and they're looking to you for who you would use if you were in their situation. So again, if you want client introductions, you need to be courageous enough to fully vet somebody, make sure that they're good. They're going to treat somebody in such a way that you can fully trust that client experience and then make a client introduction. And based on your industry, you might need to word that differently, like do your own homework, but this is someone who my clients have had a great experience with, right? You might need to position it like that if you're super risk averse, but just know that your clients value your wisdom. They value your introductions. They value what you know about these professionals. And by the way, the moment that you start to do that, the moment that you start to let go a little and really look for who is the professionals that's needed next for the clients that I serve, and you begin to make those client introductions, prepare yourself, brace yourself, because it's going to start to come back to you in much greater quantity and quality than you could ever give out. So again, this principle of reciprocation is very, very important because again, the things that you want in life are much closer than you think, but you have to give before you get. Now there's a great book, I believe it's by a gentleman by the name of Adam Smith called Give and Take. And I want to end with this principle. He says that there are 3 types of people in the world, that there are givers, there are takers, and there are traders. He uses a different word than traders. But this principle is interesting. In his book, he teaches that 60% of the world are traders. In other words, you do something for me, I'll do something for you. Takers are those who just say, gimme, gimme, gimme. And givers are those who give without thought of what they're going to get in return. So as you move forward, thinking about reciprocation, I want you to try your very hardest to be a giver or on the highest end of the spectrum of being a trader. Because if you start to keep score, if you start to think, boy, I'm not going to give to them again because I haven't gotten back from them, that taps the brakes on this reciprocation. It halts your progress on being able to receive great things. Something else from the book that was really interesting is that both the most successful people in the world and the least successful people in the world are givers. Now, isn't that interesting that the most and least successful people in the world are givers? Now, why is that? Well, because givers who are very unsuccessful give to takers. In other words, they just get run over and they get taken for everything that they have. Whereas givers who are very successful are wise enough to give to other givers. They surround themselves with other people who are looking to give into the world. And what happens when you give to a giver is there is no end to the amount of generosity that returns. So we need to be wise. I'm not saying be a trader and say, I'll give if you give. But what I am saying is be wise enough to identify takers, step away from them, and move towards givers and give and give and give. And watch the afterburners on your reciprocation and watch the accelerants and watch how fast the results start to come.